Hi there guys, I hope you have had a good day. Now, Deontay Wilder vs Tyson Fury 3 has apparently been abandoned and the fight will not happen this year. Apparently Tyson Fury will make a voluntary defense of his WBC World title in December, likely in the UK but possibly also in the US. That has not been confirmed just yet, but this fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury is now off. And the thing about that is Deontay Wilder's immediate rematch clause is close to expiring. So does that mean now that Deontay Wilder no longer gets his opportunity at Tyson Fury? If it does, then Deontay Wilder is years off from a world title opportunity because undisputed will be made the priority. And after Tyson Fury has a warm-up fight in December and Anthony Joshua deals with his mandatory, 2021 will be all about undisputed. So Deontay Wilder will be cut out of the picture completely. So I don't know whether Deontay Wilder is not ready, or whether he doesn't want to enforce his position, or whether it's because of the pandemic and they cannot get crowds into the arena. I mean, they were talking about 15,000 at Raiders Stadium. Now that's off the table. They were talking about going somewhere else and getting a site fee and getting the money that way, but that's not happening either. And now the focus is solely on Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. As long as Alexander Usyk does not enforce his position as WBO mandatory next year, then that will happen. So for Tyson Fury, it's a warm-up voluntary fight of his WBC World title in December. Anthony Joshua will deal with his mandatory Kubrat Pulev, which is mandatory for the IBF. Then maybe a WBO mandatory, but ultimately undisputed seems like it's maybe a bit closer, but ultimately Tyson Fury is still having a fight in between. But it won't be Deontay Wilder. Now, in addition to this, apparently Anthony Joshua will look to fight Tyson Fury next year, and if that means that he has to vacate his WBO World title, then he will do that. So ultimately, this fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury is set for next year. 2 fights in 2021, financials agreed, and ultimately I don't think there's going to be anything that's going to stop it now, because we've wanted undisputed for a long time. It was supposed to be Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. That did not happen. Now, can they allow it to go by again? I don't believe they will. And if they have to, belts will be vacated. If they have to, they will get exceptions for their mandatories. But this fight is going ahead. AJ versus Fury for undisputed to have the first heavyweight undisputed champion since Lennox Lewis. And what for Deontay Wilder? Well, I guess at the moment, he's just going to have to build his way back up. Like the rest of the heavyweights, he's going to have to fight. Maybe Povetkin, maybe Dillian White, maybe Alexander Usyk, maybe even Andy Ruiz Jr. He's going to have these fights if he wants to become a mandatory or number one within a governing body. Or does Deontay Wilder really want it that bad? Does he want to go through all of that, having been champion already and made 10 defenses? It is quite unclear at the moment as to why this is happening. Does Deontay Wilder not want the fight? Is he not going to be ready by December? The injury, I mean, that has been much talked about. There have been many excuses. So ultimately, is he physically, maybe mentally, not ready for December? And Tyson Fury must go on. He must have a fight in December and stay active because he's in his prime and he wants to continue towards road to undisputed. Personally, I don't think it's the crowd situation because they can get a site fee somewhere else unless no one else wants it, or they can try and get crowds back. I mean, there are going to be possibilities that they can in December, especially in America considering what is going on. They don't seem to have the same kind of restrictions as we do over here, so there could be a possibility that they got 15,000 in Raiders Stadium. They were looking at ways to make it happen. If the fight should happen, it will happen. If the fighters want it, it will happen. They will find a way. But clearly, now it's not going to. So you have to go deeper sometimes. You have to realize that, I mean, fans are not there, but there must be a way around it. If Anthony Joshua can fight Pulev, if Usyk can fight Chisora, if Povetkin and White can fight twice under current restrictions, then why not Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder? There is some deeper reason why this fight is not happening. We don't know at the moment, but it will always come out in the wash. Guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, leave a thumbs up, and subscribe if you are new. Thanks, guys.